So let's find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you today. Always choosing something that feels sustainable. And it's not that it's going to feel good every day. Maybe you can come and sit down in a cross-legged position every day and it works, but maybe it doesn't. And so if you go to sit in your standard seat and it doesn't feel right, then adjust. And one of the things I've been showing people lately, which has been really helpful, and it's something I'd kind of forgotten about, and maybe you did too, is that sometimes when we go to sit in a cross-legged position, our knees aren't resting on the floor, and it can feel really nice to give a little support. So if you're someone who is like so close to being comfortable seated on the floor in cross-legged position and in Sukhasana, but you just wish you had a little extra support, the blocks under the knees is really nice. Even if your knees come all the way to the floor, it can be a nice alternative, giving yourself just that extra little bit of support. It's really sweet. Wherever you've ended up, let's take the heels of the hands to the upper thighs. You know the drill. Press down, lean forward, introduce yourself to yourself again. Good morning. How are you? Right? It's like, how is this body? How is it today? We've gotten here. We made it to our mat. Sometimes that's the hardest part. And then let's go side to side, pressing into one thigh, leaning away. And then going back through center over to the other side, sort of wringing it out, going back and forth as it feels good to you. Ah, good morning. Yes, and then coming back to neutral, sliding the heels of the hands from the hip towards the knee gives us an opportunity to see how are the legs, how are these quadricep muscles, how is it all shaping up today? Gorgeous. Then sliding the hands over the knees. We're holding onto the knees, lifting ourselves up nice and tall. There's a little lean back against the resistance of the hands on the legs, but often when we do this, the frontal rib cage pushes forward, the tailbone lifts up behind us. So we need to drop the tailbone and draw the lower frontal ribs back. Nice. Shoulder blades down the back, right? We're still leaning back, trying to get as tall as we can. And then maintaining this, you release the hands, slide them back onto your thighs. You'll either have them upright or palms down. So either palm up or palm down, just depends on what feels good in your body today and how overstimulated you might have been feeling lately. So if you've been very overstimulated lately, then the palms of the hands down might be better for you today. Yeah, just see. You could try both. See which one feels good. And then if you can, if you feel comfortable, go ahead, close the eyes. Closing the eyes, going inside. Noticing how it feels in this body, in this moment. Sits bones balanced, tailbone heavy. Lift from the base of the skull. Shoulder blades are moving down the back. Softening the periphery. Right? We've gone inside. Now we're investigating. How is it inside this body today? What needs to adjust for you to feel balanced and comfortable? We want to be comfortable in our poses. Yes, some of them are challenging. That's by design. But we also want to find that line, right? That effortless effort that we talk about so often. And so as you balance yourself here, where is that point of effortless effort? Lift and spread the collarbones. Let the arm bones be heavy from the shoulder socket, but don't let them drag you down. And then is the skull balanced on top of the spine? Do you need to do little movements? Let's do it. Dipping left ear towards left shoulder, right ear towards right shoulder, going a little back and forth. Just feeling the sides of the cervical spine, the shoulder. right? Because other than low back, the most common thing that people bring to me is their shoulders and their neck. And bringing the head back to neutral, let's dip the chin towards the chest and then lift the chin straight up towards the sky. So dipping the chin and then lifting the chin. And I'm not letting the back of the skull crunch down onto the back of my neck. No, no, I'm lifting up and over an invisible orange. Right, so I'm not trying to crunch the back of the neck. I'm trying to elongate. Yes. And then bringing the chin to neutral. Now let's turn it from left to right. Chin stays parallel to the floor. You're like an owl. Turning the head left, turning the head right, like an owl. It's like a swivel, right? Although perhaps you can't turn as far as an owl. I think they can turn their heads all the way around. Then eventually you come back to neutral, and if there's any little wiggling, any little adjustments that need to be made, you go for it. And then release the mask of personality from the face. Surrender the musculature of the facial structure. Allow the jaw to soften, the cheekbones to relax, the eyes to recede. Then spread the eyebrows, smooth the forehead, soften the temples. And then find the breath. Long, full, steady inhalation, complete exhalation. Can you let the breath be the only thing just for now? Just for now, inhaling, exhaling, letting everything else fall away. Just for now, releasing tension with each exhalation. Fabulous. And then from here, let's take the hands together in front of the heart, palm against palm, fingers elongated. Lift the sternum to the base of the thumbs, broaden the collarbones. And then let's make some sound. Let's chant the sound of Om 3 times, and then we'll invocate. Go ahead, exhale fully, letting go of all the breath you currently have. Then inhale fully to begin. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Nice. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, let your chin come towards your chest. You're still pressing the palms of the hands together gently, spreading the tops of the shoulders. But just take a moment and dive deep. Notice if there's an intention, a need, a desire, anything that would be useful for you for your class today. It might just be a bit of information. It might just be an emotion. It could be anything. It might also be that nothing bubbles up, and that is okay. Gorgeous. On your next exhale, release your hands to your lap. As you inhale, start to flutter the eyelids open. And then as you're ready, lift the head and look wide, right? We've been doing this a lot lately, looking out the window if you have it, right? We've been spending so much time in our screens over our lifetimes now. Maybe you're like me, you remember a time that there were no screens, but now it's different. And then coming back to neutral, let's unpack the legs and then iron them out. Yeah, I was just talking to my friend about how when I was in the Air Force, everybody didn't have phones. Like you just didn't. And when you're on call, you'd get the one on call cell phone, those Nokias. Remember those? They were like indestructible. Yeah. And that was, you felt like you were cool because you had a cell phone for like 3 days. Granted, they could call you at 3 o'clock in the morning and have you come into work, but ironing out from root to shoot, pushing the energy from the hip towards the ankle. And if a little forward bend starts to just develop, hey, why not? Why not? Go for it. And then hands behind beside. Let's lift and spread the collarbones. Maybe you even lift the chin, especially if you've been feeling a certain kind of way about the season or whatever's happening in your life. Lifting the chin, lifting the chest is literally uplifting. Our energy, our mood goes with our eyes, our attention. And then pointing and flexing the feet. Mm-hmm. Nice, beautiful. Soften the jaw. Keep breathing. It's fine if you still have socks on. It was only 30 something degrees here this morning. It's a little nip. Maybe not in Florida. Come to the center of the heels. Evert, invert the foot. Inner edges forward, outer edges forward. Breathing. Inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Back to neutral. Squeeze and release the toes. Squeeze and release. Relax the jaw. You can't move your toes with your face. And then big toe up, four toes down like you're going to hitchhike with your feet. Big toe forward, four toes back. And then you're breathing as you go back and forth. Mm-hmm. And then would it feel interesting to alternate, doing one on one side, the other on the other? Why not? We're here. We're getting towards that season where things can be icy. We want to keep our connection with our toes. That toe intelligence will be what saves us. Letting it go, take the legs a little wider than hips distance, heels of the hands come to the upper thighs, and we rock the legs in and out. We rock the legs in and out. Mm-hmm. And I'm not using the muscles of the leg. This is a big distinction. I'm using the leverage of the heel of my hand at the femur bone. Mm-hmm. Yes, and then scooping up underneath the knees, bringing the feet to the floor. Let's take the knees from side to side. You want to linger on one side or the other. There's no rule that says you can't. Yes. Oh, it feels so good. Freeing up the hips, freeing up the pelvis. Gorgeous. And then we're going to a chest opener on blocks today. Lots of people coming with shoulder irritation, and I think it's because it got kind of cold kind of quickly, and everyone started to constrict. So let's take this one where I've got the medium block lengthwise down the mat, and then I've got a tall block. Now, if you know your body doesn't like this level of height, you simply flip both blocks down a level, so then you'd have a flat block and a medium block. But if you can tolerate it, I highly recommend the medium block, tall block, because we want to get this first block between the shoulder blades. That's where we can kind of use it to do a little bit of, really it's massage, but some kind of mechanical work there. The bottom edge of this block goes right at the bottom tip of the shoulder blades. So I'm turning around, I have to kind of line myself up. Oh, maybe you get it on the first try like I did. Maybe you need to adjust yourself. It's okay either way. Remember, when you come down, if it doesn't feel quite right, you're not locked in. You can always get back up and change. And that goes for anything we do today. And so here I am. I've got the bottom tip of my shoulder blades on the block. The block is between my shoulder blades. I'm going to keep my knees bent, feet flat on the floor. I feel like that keeps the energy of the pose in the upper body, but if you really want to, you could extend the legs. Back of the skull is lengthening away from the back of the neck, so it feels a lot like I'm trying to take my chin towards my chest. You want to make sure the block under the head is stable. If you came down and it started to tilt, you might need to reach back with your fingers and make sure that the bottom edge is firm against the earth. Arms are a comfortable distance to the side. Backs of the hands are there. Mm-hmm.
Just give yourself a few breaths here. The navel's moving back towards the back body. The tailbone is long. And then you might be getting enough energy here. And you can even rock a little side to side on that block that's between your shoulder blades and get a fair amount of work done in your upper back. Others, you want more, and I'm with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift the arms up towards the sky. I want you to face the palms of the hands towards the wall in front of you. And then bend your elbows out to the sides of the room so that your biceps are coming off your torso at 90 degrees, right? You look a little bit like a goalpost. Then you're going to let the backs of your hands fall back to the level of the elbow. So now you're in a cactus pose, but on your back. I like to call this the upside down skydiver, right? Because if you were flipped over on the floor, you would kind of look like you were doing a skydiving thing. Now, for some of us, this action of letting the forearms fall towards the floor, keeping the elbow and the back of the hand parallel, right? We're not letting the fingers win. We're not letting the elbow win. Those arms are parallel to the floor. But for some folks, just hanging out here is more than enough. They're feeling a lot. Indeed, come out anytime if it starts to become too much. Others, you need a little more energy in the space between your shoulder blade and your spine. And if that's you, I want you to sort of drift from left to right. You won't fall off your block. I know it feels a little precarioso, but it's not. You're not going to fall off your block. Indeed, you might find that you can get the edge of the block that's underneath your shoulders right in a sweet spot between your shoulder blade and your spine. It's a really nice way to work, especially if you get either driving related or mouse use related adhesion between your shoulder blade and your spine. And many people do. Whenever I'm doing body work, that's like the constant that everyone has that same little adhesion between their scapula and their spinal column. Right? So take a few moments here exploring. You might explore reaching the fingertips a little bit more towards the wall behind you. Sometimes that's nice. That brings the biceps a little bit further up. Some people, it feels really good. Take another few breaths. And then exhale. Release the arms down. Pause. Take a breath. Take two. Nice full inhalations, complete exhalations. And then we've got a couple options to come up. So if you have extended the legs, I want you to bend the knees one at a time and bring the feet to the floor. If you're protecting your spine for any reason, you might simply just roll off of your blocks. It's a nice way to work. Don't have to worry so much about the spine. Others, I want to bring the core into it. So you're going to interlace your hands behind the back of your head. On an exhalation, you're going to peel yourself up halfway. So now you're looking between your thighs. Then you release the hands from the skull. You're reaching them forward. You'll inhale here. And as you exhale, you'll peel yourself up off that block. Then I want you to reach around wherever you are and grab your block that was under your head. If the block behind your back isn't already on a medium aspect, please turn it to a medium aspect now. We're not going to rest on it anymore, but we're going to use it for a little bit of, I guess, a landmark while we're doing some core work. So we're going to hold this wide block between our hands. We're inhaling here. Then as you exhale, I want you to lean back and tap your shoulders to that block, and then inhale to come back up. Navel to spine, scoop that belly. Exhale, come back, tap the shoulders. Inhale, come back up. So you're going back and forth. If it feels like it's too far back, you just lean as far back as feels comfortable. If you want to make it a little easier, you could step the feet forward a little bit. If you're feeling it in the hips and not the abdomen, you flex the feet with the heels of the feet on the ground. If you want to make it a little harder, you flip the block down to its flat aspect. So now you've got a little bit further of a journey to go up and down. So we exhale as we come down. It's a strong pull of the navel back and in. We inhale to sit back up. Right? You just see what you can do. Let's do two more. Wherever you are, you're doing great. I know it's a lot. We kind of got right into it. Nice. And then release. Go ahead, take the soles of the feet together. Just a little lean forward, making sure those hip flexors let go. Taking a few breaths. It's just kind of an easy Baddha Konasana. Don't worry about anything. We're just taking a little stretch forward to release the hip flexors. And then coming back up, hands come to the outer knees, help the knees together. Gorgeous. Let's take our blanket now and use it for our head. Find your strap, have a block nearby. We're going to stretch out the legs with Supta Padangusthasana. So we're coming back and down. It feels nice to lay all the way down on the floor. Take the head a little left and right. Release any tension from the back of the neck, the base of the skull. Sometimes when we do that core work, the shoulders try to crawl up the back of the neck and creates a little tension, despite trying to relieve it just moments ago. Beautiful. Taking the head back to neutral. Flat block at the outer right hip. We're going to go right to it. Exhaling the right knee towards the chest. Let's have the strap over the ball of the foot. I know I've got black socks and a black strap, but I'm pointing here, ball of the foot, lifting the leg up towards the sky. Now, don't become unrooted. We want to make sure the back of the hip is heavy. We're leaving the back of the right hip on the earth as we reach through the ball of the foot. Meanwhile, the back of the knee opens nice and wide. Now, shoulder blades down the back, chin towards the chest. Don't congest the back of the neck, right? We want to keep that nice and clear, nice and open. From here, we'll extend that left leg onto the floor. Left leg can move to the left an inch or two. Then listen carefully. We're going to place both straps into the left hand. I know, right foot, left hand. Then we're taking the right hand to the top of the right thigh. And I want you to push the head of the femur bone away. So I'm using my right hand to push, push, push the top of the thigh away as I pull the foot towards me. Meanwhile, I'm pressing the back of that left leg into the ground. Yes. Then switching both sides of the strap back into that right hand. Left arm reaches out to the left, palm of the hand is down. We inhale here, then as we exhale, we take the right leg out and down to the right. Take a little peek, make sure the outer right foot is parallel to the floor. Plug the upper right arm bone into the shoulder socket. And then this next movement is as much about moving the hip as it is about the tailbone. I want you to think of directing your tailbone strongly towards that inner left heel. You'll feel the right side of the torso get long. Draw your chin towards your chest. Shoulder blades are down the back. Breathing here. Nice full inhalations, complete exhalations. Gorgeous. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, take this leg back up to neutral. Both straps go back into the left hand. That frees up the right hand to adjust the hip. So we're giving ourselves our own adjustment. You know it, you love it. We're planting the back of the hip on the floor. You're slipping your right thumb into your hip crease and using that hand now to strongly roll the outer hip away from the outer rib cage. So it's down towards the floor and away towards the other end of the mat. Your leg might turn out. Then from there, we see how far can we go. It might only be 5-10 degrees. We're just noticing where is sensation here. So I have to go out and come back in a few times to find the right spot. Yeah, relaxing the base of the skull, breathing, breathing. Gorgeous. Inhaling back to neutral. Spread those straps out between both hands. Take the leg a little towards you, a little away, little towards you, little away. Then exhale, release that leg to the floor, both legs on the ground. Notice how they feel, any differences, any similarities. And then just because we can, let's take the head from side to side again. making sure that no tension has crept into the back of the neck. And then we'll do that much to the second side. So go ahead, move your block over to the outer left hip. Everyone bends both knees here. For now, the right foot comes to the floor. Then as you exhale, left knee towards the chest, strap goes over the ball of that left foot, and we lengthen the leg up towards the sky, letting the back of the hip be so heavy. Right? It's really like you're dropping a bowling ball down onto the ground. I know you don't want to think of your hips as bowling balls, but that weight, not the little tiny balls, the actual big bowling balls. I know, New England, candlepin, right? Those balls are tiny, but this is a big one. Letting that hip be super heavy. Notice, did the back of the neck get short again? That happens so quickly, it's okay. Then we extend that right leg onto the ground, moving it to the right 2 inches. Both straps into the right hand, left hand pressing against the upper thigh, just like we did on the first side. Right? So you're really giving yourself your own adjustment here. Nice full inhale, complete exhale. And then both straps into the left hand. Left hand has the strap, right arm reaches out to the right. Inhale to get long. Exhale, take the leg out and down. Do a little peek. See, is the outer foot parallel to the floor? Nice. And then plug the upper left arm bone into the shoulder socket. You might need a little more slack on the strap. That's okay. And then direct your tailbone towards your inner right heel as you press the back of the right leg firmly into the ground. Beautiful. We didn't do it on the first side, but let's go ahead and do it. Lower abdomen rolls from right to left, upper abdomen rolls from left to right. So we're getting that little bit of twisting action. Soften the throat, relax the jaw. Nice. One more full inhale. Then as we exhale, we're taking this leg back up to neutral, switching the strap back into the right hand, left thumb in the hip crease, press the back of the hip down, roll the outer hip away. Okay, once you've got all that going on, and it's a strong roll of the outer hip away, then we see how far across the body do we need to take the leg to get sensation. And you might need to come out and go back in, right? I'm constantly readjusting. Where is the sensation? Where is the stretch that feels useful? Right? It's always with curiosity. Nice. Coming back to neutral, spread those straps out a little towards you, a little away, little towards you, little away. Then exhale, release. Everything back on the floor. Take a few soft, quiet breaths here. If you need to take the head a little side to side again, you go ahead and do it. Beautiful. And then bring the head back to neutral. We're going to bend the knees, bring the feet onto the floor. And then we're going to interlace the hands behind the back of the head. Now, if at any point having the hands behind the back of the head didn't feel comfortable, you can make a little sling with your strap, right? So if having the hands behind the head felt very uncomfortable for whatever reason, I can take the back of the strap right around the back of the skull. Then my elbows are bent at 90 degrees and I'm holding onto the strap. So I've created this little cradle. Otherwise, hands go behind the back of the head. Now, here's the deal. We're not going to do a crunch up towards the thighs. Instead, I want you to imagine that you've got a gigantic pancake spatula, and I want you to think of lifting straight up towards the sky. So let's go ahead and set up. So you're going to exhale, navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. Take an inhale here, lengthen the back of the neck. The head's going to stay heavy in the hands or the strap. Then on your next exhale, I want you to think of lifting your chest straight up towards the sky. Then as you inhale, you come back down. Remember, the head stays heavy. Exhale, lift straight up towards the sky. Inhale, come back down. Keep the navel back, keep the pubic bone towards the belly button, right? That's that button the jeans, zip them up action. You're going straight up towards the sky. And then we're going to add on. So you're going to lift, then you're going to reach your right hand towards your outer right ankle. Inhale to come back and down. Exhale, lift, left hand reaches to the outer left ankle. Inhale, back and down. So now you're adding a little side crunch. Whatever hand isn't reaching stays behind the head for support. Now it gets a little awkward if you have the strap. So if you have the strap, instead of reaching, you're just doing a little tilt, right? So if you've got the strap, the hands stay behind on the strap, right? The strap stays behind the head. You're just bringing your side body, right? It's like you're trying to bring your side ribs towards the outer hip, right? It's the opposite of what we were doing when we move the tailbone towards the extended leg heel. Right? So couple more, getting into the oblique muscles. Exhale, up, reach, inhale, back, down. One more time, either side. And then exhale, release the head, release the arms. Take a breath. And then let's address the lower abdominal wall before we change positions. So we'll work with the stuck foot abs. I think that's one of the best ways to activate the lower abdominal wall. We just did the upper abdominal wall and the side ribs. Now let's work with those lower. So we're going to keep the feet glued to the floor at all times. At no time are we actually going to lift the feet off the floor. It's as if they are glued, stuck to your yoga mat. Navel back, pubic bone to belly button. Inhale here. Then as you exhale, you organize everything as if you're going to pick that right foot off the floor. It does not lift. It's as if someone is holding it down, but you're activating as if. Then you inhale to quote unquote put it back down, right? Exhale as if you're lifting that left foot off the floor. Again, it doesn't actually lift. You're just acting as if. Inhale, switch, right? So exhaling for the action, engagement, inhaling to release, then you exhale, engage the second side. I like that idea of engaging because it's really not an action. You're just engaging the muscles, right? You have to keep the tailbone long here, navel back, don't arch the spine. Yes, let's do one more either side. Gorgeous. Then release, head and knees, left and right. Just pause, give yourself a little release. We're going to do both legs together here in a second. If you think it would be helpful to hold on to the sides of your yoga mat, you're welcome to do it. Otherwise, we're coming back to neutral. Navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. Inhale, lengthen the back of the neck. Exhale, as if you're lifting both feet off the floor. They stay on the ground, but you're acting as if. Inhale to release, soften. Exhale, engage. Inhale, soften. Going at your own pace now. Remember, you're in charge of the intensity. You make this as intense or as not as it feels necessary and useful. Make sure that the belly muscles aren't coning up towards the sky. It might be helpful to have your hands there so that you can feel that you're training them to go back and down. Yes, core muscles, so important for stability. Right? These are what help us stay upright. Let's do two more. You can do two more of anything. Gorgeous. Last one. Nice. And then knees and head in opposition. Let go. If you need to heel toe your feet a little wider, go ahead and do it. We're just releasing all the tension from the body now. It's very floppy. Let yourself go from side to side. If you want to linger on one side or the other, it's absolutely useful. Gorgeous. And then rolling all the way over. Pick your favorite side. If you have socks on, now is a really good time to take them off. Let's stretch out those abdominal muscles we were just using with a little cat and cow, coming to your table pose. If you need padding for the knees, don't hesitate to support yourself in any way that feels useful. Then planting the hands, planting the knees, tops of the feet are on the earth. Inhaling, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest, lifting the gaze, stretch the frontal plane of the body. Then exhale, navel to spine, head and tailbone go down. Then you're going back and forth at your breath pace. Might be faster, might be slower than mine, doesn't matter. You're going through the full length of the spine. And I've been saying it these last few weeks, can you be methodical, not mechanical, right? That means, can you feel every vertebra? Can you give each one an opportunity here? Yeah. And then coming back to neutral, lengthening tailbone, crown of head, we inhale here. Exhale, wag the tail to the right, turn to look over the right shoulder. Inhale through center, exhale second side. So still going back and forth, right? We worked the oblique muscles. Now we want to release that tension, right? I always say you can't just build tension, build tension, build tension. You've got to do a counter movement. Nice. Back to neutral. We're headed to downward facing dog when you feel ready. And it might be that you're doing an alternative today. So plant the hands, fingers spreading, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Beautiful. If it feels good to pedal the feet out today, feel free to do it. Bending one knee, bending the other. You can even do this in an alternative L shape at a countertop or a dresser. Eventually, let's drag the heels down and back, lengthening, lengthening. Yes, beautiful. Yes, so much stability here. And then Uttanasana, standing forward bent, walking the feet in. Oops, what happened? Nice, and then softening the knees, let the torso drape, let the head hang. Then we can shake the head a little no, a little yes. Relaxing the base of the skull, relaxing the back of the head. Beautiful. And then thumbs in the hip creases, hook the hips back, lengthen the spine, and then inhale to come to standing. Good job. Roll the shoulders, forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. So nice to get that mobility in the upper torso. Yes. Then let's sit up for Parsvottanasana. We've got a little bit of standing work to do. So taking our two tall blocks at the top of the mat, coming to stand a little distance behind them. Hands come to the hips. Feet are parallel. Remembering that what we mean by that when we say feet are parallel, we mean that the index toes, the second metatarsals, they're parallel. Doesn't matter about the rest of the feet. If you're like most people, your feet are a trapezoid, so it's not going to work. Pressing down on the tops of the hips, pressing down through the feet, lifting up through the crown of the head, wrapping the elbows a little towards each other behind the back, but not letting those frontal ribs go forward, right? We got to keep them tamed down and back. From here, left foot forward, right foot back. You're deciding, are you on railroad tracks or a tightrope? Squaring the hips to the front of the mat, pressing through the feet. It's like you're trying to stretch your yoga mat from front to back. Remember all that navel work we did? It's very easy to kind of dump the belly forward here. Instead, think of zipping up the jeans and buttoning them. Then inhale, lift the arms up towards the sky.
Exhale, hinge forward, hands come to the blocks. Now, if once you're down, you feel like you need to adjust the feet for stability, you absolutely do that. Now, listen carefully. Going to do something a little different here. I want you to keep planting the outer right heel on the floor. We don't want to uproot there. Big toe ball mound of the left foot, pressing, pressing. And I want you to walk your blocks over to the left. So now both blocks are on the outside of the left foot. I am diagonal from my back right heel. And then we're walking the blocks forward any amount. So we're in a bit of a twisted position here. It's a little bit like Parvrita Trikonasana, but we're not doing that. We're using this to lengthen, lengthen, lengthen the right side of the body. That left hip still needs to move back, but we're stretching the arms forward. Yes. Beautiful. And then coming back to neutral, walk the blocks forward here. Don't lock the front knee. And then those that can are going to bow down the rest of the way. And some of you now, the hands might be able to come to medium blocks or flat blocks, or perhaps you don't need any blocks at all. Letting the head hang if you can. Nice. And then we're coming back, hands to the hips, right? So now we're halfway, spine parallel to the floor. With your hands, imagine you could press the hips towards the wall behind you. Inhale here. Then exhale, navel to spine, coming back up to standing. Then turn the feet parallel, walk or jump the feet back together. Yay, good job. Let's do the last side. So I'm just turning around so you can see the active leg. You're welcome to stay exactly how you are. Good job. Hands come to the hips. Let's find Tadasana before we go anywhere else. Index toes parallel. Big toe ball mound, outer heel pressing. I'm pressing the rim of the pelvis down so I can really lengthen through the spine. Take a full breath here. Let yourself arrive in the pose, right? Arriving, not striving. Right foot forward, left foot back. Right foot forward, left foot back. Square the hips to the front of the mat. Do you need more space laterally? It's okay if you do. Inhale the arms up, look up, reach up. Exhale, hinge forward, find the blocks underneath your hands. Like I said on the first side, if you need to adjust the feet once you're here, that's fine. Paw the blocks back, lengthen the front of the spine. I'm pressing that back outer left heel down so firmly, it's like it's in damp sand. Then I'm walking both blocks over to the right. So now I am diagonal from that outer left heel. Don't lock the right knee, but do try to walk the blocks away as far as you can. It's a big stretch on that left side. I know it's from the outer left hip to the left fingertips. Meanwhile, the right hip is moving back, back, back. Yeah, it wants to come around. Don't let it happen. Gorgeous. And then walking the blocks back to center. Could you walk them just a little bit further away? Don't uproot the back heel. And then you're seeing, what can you do with the bow? Is it that you just can flip the blocks down a little bit? Maybe you can bring your fingertips to the floor. Maybe you need just a little bit of height, a flat block. Let the head go wherever you are. It's okay if the upper back rounds a little. Then we're coming back up halfway. Hands to the hips. Press the hips back to lengthen the front of the spine. And then it's navel to spine. Exhale. Come back to center. Come back up. Turn the feet parallel. Walk the feet back together. Roll the shoulders. Forward, up, back, and down. Give yourself relief. Yes. Now, Prasarita Padottanasana. We'll take the full pose. Yes, so taking your 2 blocks in front of you, we're going to take the feet wide, backs of the heels lining up with the backs of the mat. I'm just changing camera so you can see. I know we've been doing this pose a lot lately. It's such a good pose when everything feels a little crazy. So big toe ball mound, outer heel pressing, inner arches are lifted. We want the outer edges of the feet to be parallel to the outer edges of the mat. So you do a little look, make sure what's happening is actually what you think is happening. So interesting when we check in to discover that what we think is happening and what's actually happening are two different things. Now, balance the weight between the ball of the foot and the heel. And then just like we've been doing in the other pose, we're walking the blocks forward. And then we're going to walk the blocks over to the right, getting that left side long. I know we were just here. We're not going to stay long. Nice. And then walking the blocks over to the left. They're like little stilts for your hands. Don't let the right hip come forward. I'm in my mind hooking that right hip back, back, back. Nice. And then bringing the blocks to center. We're going to bring them back underneath our head if we need them. Or I know some of you could take the head all the way to the floor, coming into your final expression of Prasarita Padottanasana, whatever that means for you today. Lift the kneecaps up, up, up. Turn the inner thighs towards the wall behind you. Nice. Back of the skull is heavy. Shoulder blades are sliding towards your back pockets. Being upside down, so useful, changes our perspective. Nice. And hands underneath the shoulders. We'll heel toe the feet in until we can come down onto our mat. Going to do a little seated sequence. So I'm putting my blocks to the side. We're just going to do 2 seated poses. I'm going to use a blanket to sit on. Going to do Paschimottanasana. So seated forward bend. You might want a strap. And you might want your blocks for your head. We're just going to see what happens. Coming to sit with the legs extended in Dandasana. Ironing them out feels good, do it, but we're going to move our buttock flesh out of the way. So you have to kind of lean to one side and use your opposite hand to pull the glute muscle up and away so that your whole buttock bone can come down onto the floor. Then I'm reaching through the inner heels. Now, some of you can't reach the feet in a forward bend, so I want you to take your strap around your feet. And then let it drop. Okay. So now we've got a strap if we need it. Then we're inhaling the arms up. I want you to get super long. Then as you exhale, you hinge forward. If you can grab hold of your feet, you do it. If your feet feel very far away, you take hold of your strap. Nice. And then we're going to inhale up again. I really want you to think of lengthening your heart away from your belly button. Then from there, we go forward any amount. If you wanted to, you could set up your blocks for your forehead, right? You might have 2 tall blocks on top of each other. You might need 3 blocks. I don't know. You might need only 1 block, right? But you're perhaps finding some way to support your head. Don't sleep on the legs. The idea is that we're pressing the legs into the ground. That stability, that firmness of the legs allows the torso to have a little more freedom. If you've got your hands on your feet, you're pressing your feet into your hands. If you're using the strap, you're building a little resistance there. Yes, breathing here. Beautiful. And then releasing the feet, releasing the strap, reach the arms forward, inhale.
Then exhale, navel to spine, lift the arms up, turn the palms away, press the atmosphere down. Good job. Coming underneath the knees now. We're going to take the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. If you need more height, feel free to take it. You might put 2 flat blocks underneath your sits bones. Drawing the heel bones in close to the pelvis, I'm holding on to the ankles. Once again, I need to lengthen the frontal plane of the body. So getting that resistance of the hands, just like we did in the beginning of class, I'm inhaling to lengthen. I'm using the hands to lean back slightly. But just like we did in the beginning of class, we can't let the tailbone scoot back. So we're dropping the tailbone, drawing the lower frontal ribs in, and then from here on our exhalation, we can start to hinge forward from the hips, right? We want to keep moving the heart away, away, away till we find our destination. Then perhaps we can set up support for the head, right? If you are directly over your feet, you could even use your feet to kind of hold your support, right? Don't be afraid to make something out of what you have. Don't let the belly muscles go forward. Even here, we're thinking of buttoning the jeans and zipping them, right? So even here, that little bit of abdominal engagement is helpful. Gorgeous. Another 2, 3 breaths here. And then exhaling, navel to spine, hands come to the outer knees, help the knees up, walking the legs out, a little swish. Why not? Feels so useful. And then let's set up for the second part of our inversion, right? We did our Prasarita Padottanasana. Now we will take the hips up on height. You might choose 1 block. You might choose 2 blocks. Don't use the tall blocks unless you've got cork blocks because they're very unstable. If you want height, use the 2 blocks on top of each other like so. Coming back to lay down, nothing underneath the head. You can't have height under the head when you lift the pelvis. It's a bad combination. Pressing the feet down, inhale, exhale, lift the pelvis up. Place your blocker blocks underneath your sacrum. Make sure they're steady and firm. If you want to get more lift through the chest, you press the elbows down to lift the sternum. Beautiful. Then from here, we can exhale both knees into the chest. Inhale, lifting both feet up towards the sky. Yes. Look for the perpendicularity. We want the ankles over the knees, over the hips. Still rolling the outer upper arms down, down, down. Back of the neck is long. I'm still lifting. It's like the shoulder blades are lifting the back of the heart, right? So I'm engaging. I'm not collapsing. Hanging out for a minute. Let's be here together. Long, steady, full breaths. We're towards the tail end of our practice. We're coasting down. Nice. 15 more seconds. You've got this. From here, on an exhalation, we bend the knees. On our inhalation, we bring our feet to the earth. Then we lift the pelvis, take the blocker blocks out from underneath us, roll down 1 vertebra at a time. Once the pelvis lands on the exhalation, hug the knees into the chest, and then a little rocking from side to side. So useful. Smoothing out the back body, letting go of tension. And then hands on the bent knees, steering the two knees around in a circle, a few times in one direction, a few times in the other. Beautiful. And then let's set up for Shavasana in a really luxurious way. So taking that blanket behind the back of the head and the neck, setting up our blocks as a little shelf for the backs of the thighs. Put your socks back on if you lost them. Put on your sweater. Maybe you have another blanket to pull over the top of you. Maybe you have a scarf to wrap around you and cover the eyes. But make yourself really cozy, really comfortable here. Go for it. Why not? There are no rules. We just want to make sure we enjoy this pose. Drawing the chin towards the chest, lengthening the back of the neck. And then before we fully commit to stillness, let's go ahead and open the mouth. Open the mouth super wide. Stick the tongue out. Stretch the jaw, stretch the teeth, stretch the tongue. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then draw the tongue back into the mouth. Let just the lips come back to touch. And then let go yourself completely. Let loose yourself completely. Let yourself rest here in stillness and silence, knowing now there's nothing to do. Now there's nothing to do. And letting one strand of your awareness come back to hear my voice. If you found yourself in a sweet spot and you're not ready to move, I highly recommend you just stay where you are. There's no need to do anything else if you've got time and space.
Now, no one should be in a hurry to pop up. So even if you're ready to move, I want you to take your time here. Just start by deepening the breath. Then move on to little movements in the fingers and the toes, the ankles and the wrists. And then as you exhale, draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Hug yourself like you're hugging your very best friend. And then slowly, mindfully roll to your right side. Pause on the earth. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel its stability, its structure. And then using the hands to help you, you're going to push yourself back to a seated position. Head is the last thing to arrive. Eyes remain closed. Draw yourself up very tall, tailbone descending, base of skull ascending. Nice. Then take the hands together in front of you. Lift the sternum to the base of the thumbs. Exhale the chin forward and down. Bowing to the seat of the soul. Bowing to that divine inner wellspring of kindness, compassion, patience, and joy. The light in me is deeply honored by your light, grateful for your practice, and humbled by your presence. And in case no one's told you yet today, I love you, and I'm convinced of your capacity to continue crafting a life worth living. Thank you so much for being here today. Namaste. Namaste. Have a good weekend. Take good care.